means it's going to put you into a fight or flight mode, and you're not going to be thinking about that food. So if you find yourself having hunger cravings, you can go out and go and do some body weight exercises or go and do something like that to get the body moving. Then you're going to deter those hunger cravings because there's no more blood flow going to the stomach. What's going on, guys? Tyson the trainer, back with another video for you. Today I'm going to be talking about killing hunger cravings in their track, because a lot of people seem to struggle with this, and I used to struggle with this for a long time. Especially when I first started dieting, trying different dieting approaches, I found out that I was always hungry after a meal, and I would find myself going to the fridge, going to the pantry, looking for something just to satisfy that sweet tooth. And especially at night time, when I'd finish eating, I'd still want something sweet, I'd still want something cold, I'd still want something like that little bit of a sweet taste, and it was so hard to cure. But there have been some awesome ways that I figured out how to cure it for not only myself but also my clients, and today I want to share with them you. So let's get straight back into it, and let's get started. With the first thing I want you guys to talk about is when it comes to trying to kill off hunger cravings, you've actually got to feel, are you actually hungry, or are you bored, or are you sensing some comfort food? Because hunger cravings can mean different things to different people. If you're just sitting around in your office or at home all day, of course you're going to get hunger cravings if you're bored and you're not actually hungry. So it's really taking the time, first of all, to listen to your body and see, are you actually hungry, or are you just bored, and are you just sitting around and you want something to satisfy that little bit of a hunger craving? Because that was the biggest thing for me. Because I work as a personal trainer, when I'm not here, my office is at home in my bedroom, which means I have access to food all the time. And I was finding myself snacking on food, but I wasn't actually hungry. I thought I was hungry, but to be honest, I was just bored because I wasn't doing certain things. And so when you find yourself bored, you've got to preoccupy your mind. You can start doing some work, reading a book, doing something that's going to stimulate your mind and take you away from that boredom, because boredom is one of the biggest ways you can start to overeat, especially when you're just like, oh, you know what, I'm going to watch some TV, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. So you've got to try and stimulate your mind first of all to keep yourself out of that boredom loop. Now, if you aren't bored and you still start to have that hunger cravings, then I suggest is you buy yourself some apple cider vinegar. This stuff is potent, holy moly, and I promise you it's going to kill those hunger cravings. I actually got recommended this by my coach named Mark Dharma, who's a high performance coach. And he said there's one of the things you get sugar cravings for is because of the bacteria in your stomach. And when you have a shot of apple cider vinegar, it actually helps kill off those bad bacteria, and they hate it. You're actually going to notice when you have it, you're going to feel it going to your stomach, and you're going to feel it working, and those sugar cravings are just going to slowly disappear, okay? It's going to be like 5 minutes, you're going to be like, wow, I don't want anything else. Because it's so acidic, it's going into your stomach, and it's just getting rid of all that bad bacteria. So the first thing is to buy yourself some organic apple cider vinegar, and whenever you find yourself having those sugar cravings, have a shot of that, and I promise you that'll be one thing to interrupt that sugar craving thought. Next thing you can do is to make sure that you get up and go and do some exercise. So exercise actually blunts hunger cravings because it's taking your blood flow from your stomach into your extremities instead, which means it's going to put you into a fight or flight mode, and you're not going to be thinking about that food. So if you find yourself having hunger cravings, you can go out and go and do some body weight exercises or go and do something like that to get the body moving. Then you're going to deter those hunger cravings because there's no more blood flow going to the stomach. And that's why it's really, really important to make sure you're getting in your daily exercise every single day, because you're going to decrease your hunger. But what they've actually shown is people who do longer periods of weight training and doing things like that, your hunger is going to actually increase because of your physical activity. So you've got to try and counterbalance that too, right? There's always that, okay, I'm going to exercise now and I'm not hungry, but usually people get hungry afterwards. And this is why we always talk about Mike Tyson's 2-a-day method, which is really, really important. Now, the 2-a-day method means you only eat 2 times during the day and you have 2 big meals. Now, why is this important? Because when you have 2 bigger meals, instead of trying to have smaller meals during the day, what's going to happen is that you're going to be full and satiated from that one meal, and it's going to take you all the way over until your next meal. So I'll give you an example. I do intermittent fasting every single day, and I'll break my fast at about 11:30, 12 o'clock-ish, right? After that, I'm then going to have my first meal. And usually I'll eat, it'll take me about half an hour, so I'm done by about 12:15, 12:30 max. My next meal isn't going to be until 4:30, okay? Because I finish eating by 5 o'clock. So I've got about a 5.5 hour window of where I'm eating, and I have 2 big meals. The best thing about this is that it's actually killed my hunger cravings because I'm so full. And a lot of my clients and people who are following this advice found the exact same thing. When they eat only 2 big meals during the day, as opposed to having snacks and things like that, your body gets used to when that's going to eat. And the best thing is you're going to feel full after that meal, which is going to stop you from having those food cravings, because usually it's not just the food cravings you're after, it's also that satisfying feeling of having something sweet and sugary in your mouth, because you can associate that. When I was a kid, I used to always have dessert, so I always wanted that little bit of extra sweetness after the end. But since following my 2-a-day method, because I'm so full, I don't want to put anything else into my stomach. And so when you follow eating lots of lean meats, eating vegetables, eating healthy fats at both of those meals, having a big ass salad, you're going to be full, you're going to be satiated, and it's going to help you drive all the way over to your next meal, and you're not going to get those hunger cravings. So it's a really key thing to start trying the Tyson's 2-a-day method and see, will that actually work for your body? Because when I fast, I don't get hunger cravings. Right now, as I'm recording this, I'm in a fasted state. It is 8:15 a.m. and I am fasting until 11:30, and I don't have any hunger cravings at all. But what I found is when I used to eat, that is when my body would actually send me hunger cravings. It was a couple of hours after I had my first meal. And if you notice that too, if you're eating breakfast, then you find yourself hungry a couple of hours after, then you can benefit from intermittent fasting, because it's going to reset your hunger levels too, because you're not always going to be, oh, I need food every couple of hours. Your body's going to get used to going longer periods, which means it's going to blunt that hunger signal. You can also prevent it with black coffee, which I'll talk about next. But when you have that blunted signal, and then when you have your first meal, which is really big, and then you're having your second meal, which is another big meal, twice during the day, it's going to keep that hunger at bay. So far, we've talked about having some apple cider vinegar, we've talked about going some exercise, we've talked about Tyson's 2-a-day method. There's 2 more methods I want to share with you. Number 1 is to drink more liquid. Drink more water, drink more green tea, drink more black coffee. Decaf. All of those things are going to be way more beneficial for you to help kill off those hunger cravings, because a caffeine, especially from coffee and from green tea, is an appetite suppressant, which means you're not going to get as hungry as quickly, which is really, really cool, because that means you're not going to be able to eat more. And the biggest thing is when you have black coffee, we're talking about black coffee and black tea, right? Black coffee, green tea, black tea. When you have these things with no calories, they're way more important, because if you have something with calories in them, first of all, it's going to break fast. Second of all, it's going to have extra calories in it. And third of all, because it's got those calories in it, it's going to signal to your body that you're going to want more and more and more food. So when you're trying to kill those hunger cravings, starting with the water first, of course, because water is a nutrient of life. And then secondly, having the black coffee or black tea or green tea, it's going to help with that body kill off those hunger cravings and stave it off for longer. So caffeine's a really good one. And the last thing that I found is, if you're still having those hunger cravings, especially after you eat food, get up and go for a walk straight away. Get up, get away from the house, get away from your kitchen, get away from wherever you're eating, and deter yourself from being able to overeat. Because if you are in your house and you just finished eating and you look up and you see the fridge and you see the cupboard, you're like, should I, shouldn't I, should I, shouldn't I, should I? Yeah, I should. You're going to go there and you're going to do it. But if you get up, if you get away from your house and you do a 10-minute walk, as soon as you get up and you get away, you're going to distract yourself. You're going to get in that exercise. You're going to help with digestion. And the biggest thing is, it takes a while from your stomach to send a signal to your brain to say you're full. So if you get up and you go for a walk, your body is going to start being able to signal and say, hey, I'm full. I don't need to eat any more food actually, and I don't need to snack on that. So it's a really, really powerful tool, and it's one thing I do every single day. After my first meal and after my second meal, I'll have a big meal, I'll go for a walk to help with the digestion and also to stop me from overeating. So guys, they are some really, really powerful tips to kill your hunger cravings. Let's go over them again really, really quickly. You've got exercise, apple cider vinegar, Tyson's 2-a-day method, black tea, black coffee, green tea, going for a walk as soon as you finish eating. Follow those tips and I promise you, your hunger cravings are gonna be gone. You're gonna avoid overeating, you're gonna avoid that extra belly fat, and you're gonna feel way better when you're not guilty because you just stood in the fridge and ate a whole bunch of extra sweet stuff. Now, before you go, it's getting close to summer, right? Well, actually, it's getting close to the new year. And so what that means is that you need to get in the best shape of your life. And I want to share with you how you're not going to fail. So I've got a free chapter of my new book coming out called Life in the Fast Lane that you can get below, and it tells you exactly how to set a 12-week goal, achieve your 12-week goal, and so you don't fall off track. Till next time, I'm Tyson the trainer. Speak to you then.